Welcome, guys, to the Confederacy. Now, we have done a short Union campaign, but I have to be honest, it was quite easy, quite straightforward, and I'd like a little bit more of a challenge. So why not play as the glorious Confederacy? Well, I hope so anyway. Now, of course, this is the summer of 1861, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do all of the crazy naval stuff I did as the Union. We managed to really destroy Confederate naval capabilities. We attacked New Orleans and nearly took over the entire damn city. But we've got a few armies here. We've got, of course, the Army of the Potomac under Beauregard, and we've got, of course, Johnston's army over here at Winchester, the Army of the Shenandoah. Now, there's a lot of other guys arriving. You can see John B. Magruder trying to get to Richmond, and frankly, we just don't have as many men to spare as the Union. Nonetheless, we're going to have to try to do our best, and I'm tempted, actually, to grab our garrisons here and attempt to bust through. Just get the Savannah Squadron, a few other squadrons, merge them together, and potentially go for the Union. I mean, we've done it once before. Maybe we can work that same magic with the Confederacy here. Now, over here in the Mississippi Delta area, there's going to be that garrison right there. And again, if we could take Fort Pickens Garrison with a force, an actual military force, it would be huge for us because we wouldn't have to worry at all about trade being hurt on the Mississippi Delta. I think that's just huge. Now, let's jump in here and just take a quick look at our current situation. Alright, well, we got a bunch of objectives to complete, of course. We got some armies we definitely need to build here in the Fort Pulaski garrison, and we can get units from any number of different territories, but it looks like right now Alabama is going to be a big one, as well as, of course, Tennessee, really the true southern states. Over time, of course, that will change. Now, we also want to try and get some good old-fashioned commandists, but right now I'm fine with Commander Forrest, and it's not that Commander Forrest as leader of our naval forces at least. So let's hold on right now. We're just going to hold here. I believe the armies of the Union are on the march. In fact, we are going to hit that play button, and we are officially in the game. Brickworks is producing, everything is producing. This is what we like, or this is what we'd like to see. And we just want to make sure to beat the Union in trade if at all possible. That's usually never possible, but that's one of the goals that I'm going to try to do, is I'm going to try to wipe out that Atlantic blocking squadron. So let me just make sure all of these garrison ships are headed out. And what we're going to do is we're going to fast forward to a battle here. I just wanted to give you guys sort of an impression of what's going on initially, at least. In fact, I'm even going to take the New Orleans squadron, 8 ships here, and I'm going to bring it over to Savannah, Georgia, in an effort to... Oh, wait a minute. Is he going to take the river all the way there? No. In an effort to hopefully destabilize the Union just a little bit. Now, we desperately need some government funding. I've actually selected that as our next focus. Without some government funding, we're not going to be able to pay for this war. After that, I want to go for the Regulars Act, which takes 21 days to start really training our men properly. At this point, we're just going to go ahead, accelerate time. We'll also take a look in the West. Although I don't believe the real battles in the West have begun, we do have the Army of the Northwest right there under Garnett. And we've got... Let's see, not the Army of the Shenandoah. Where is he? I think it's called the Tennessee Department. There it is. So it's Polk's command. I thought for sure we had another group over here. We are going to, however, just take a look through. We're certain to have some forces here in the West. And look at that, guys. The Western Army here. I'd like to go ahead and merge them with the Missouri State Guard, although I'm not entirely sure the Missouri State Guard can actually leave the territory of Missouri. I don't believe they can. So let's go ahead here to this Western Army. And we're going to start heading north to St. Louis. That's going to be the goal. We're going to move north this way with McCullough's men. We must still have additional forces here in the West. Don't forget, we've got that Native Allies trait, but we actually need to enact that, so I think it would take something like 30 turns, or 30 days anyway. 5 ships carrying 32 guns. Wonderful. Well, we are headed that way. But as you can see here, I mean, the enemy's not pushing forward. We might need to take the initiative here, maybe with the Army of the Shenandoah, and push upon the Department of Pennsylvania, smash them here while we have a chance. Alright guys, some good news. We just got a treaty with the Choctaws and the Chickasaws. These are, of course, a native faction, and so hopefully that's going to allow us to take the West a little bit faster. But keep in mind that this conflict, particularly on the Confederate side, is going to require a good amount of waiting, and I really mean it too. This is going to be just a lot of waiting overall. I'm also just want to kind of stop that Western Army. We might actually end up hitting the Army of the West, but if I'm going to do that, I want the Missouri State Guard to assist. So I'm actually going to try to push them through, and there's a little chance, just a little chance, that our first battle in this game is going to be in the West. We've also got the Tahlequah, we've got the Muskogee Confederacy. All of these different native groups are hopefully going to be bringing in quite a bit of goods, although it looks like they're also eating away at goods, namely tobacco, crops, and clothing, all of which we need. Not so much the tobacco, but it's interesting to see there what exactly they're consuming. Now, we remain here with the Army of the Potomac. We're waiting for the Union to make a move. It would be suicide to head into Washington, D.C., although one consideration of mine is to just take the Army of the Potomac, get across over here, and hit the Department of the Pennsylvania. I believe there we might actually have a little bit of a chance at victory. So I'm going to do just that. I'll move through with the Army of the Potomac, and then through here to hit the Department of the Pennsylvania. Let's hope that this is a winning strategy, and let's hope it gives us a huge victory. The other issue is we're leaving the road to Richmond open, so this either works out extraordinarily well, or Jefferson Davis is going to be captured by the Union. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. Oh, wait a minute. The Department of Pennsylvania is now moving. We might want to cancel that movement entirely. In fact, I think that's exactly what we'll do. And look at that. Before we could even react, we've got an occupying army right there near the Army of the Shenandoah. We're absolutely going to go out and beat it. We owe it to our citizens here to, of course, defend the South from the enemy. And there we go, 7,735 men under McDowell. We better win this army and absolutely smash McDowell. Let's go to it, guys. We're going to play our first battle here, and we do have somewhat more men and guns than the enemy. Let's teach these Federals a lesson. All right, folks, we do get to, of course, begin the battle starting wherever we want, and I think we're going to just go right here, straight to the old road, the Boyle Road, and I can't even read that. Is this in Russian? The front road, let's call it. Or I guess it's the front hovel. I can read hovel there. And hopefully the enemy will be coming through or down from Winchester, and that's when we'll actually face them in battle. Now, any number of different things can happen, and I believe the HQ is letting us know that the enemy is right there. Certainly, we are going to be on the attack. The enemy has fewer men than we do, so let's go ahead and grab Johnston and immediately start pushing up over here to Milltown. In fact, I believe that that land work there is going to be the enemy. So let's actually try to move through Cairnstown, kind of do something like this, and get a look at the enemy before we necessarily engage in battle. Well, here we go, guys. The first Royal Pike. What a beautiful place to start a battle. And let's get started. Of course, now we've got couriers going out to our men, and I believe we will be marching fairly soon. But the South has risen, my friends, and victory is all we shall accept. On to battle. Be back when we get some action, my friends. Well, would you believe it, guys? It's the end of the day. That's right, unbelievably. Took us the entire day just to actually walk through the town. Now, we did start the battle fairly late, but it looks like, of course, we are supplied. And now we need to go ahead and just reform our men. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to have the enemy coming at us from Winchester here. I thought they were going to be at the trench works, but guess what? They're nowhere to be found. So it's got to be either in the city of Winchester or maybe over here. Millwood Pike might be an even better location. But no, we don't have full control over that area. What about... Am I seeing some enemies? I believe I am, guys. I'm starting to see them. Let's set up our forces like that. Looks perfect to me. And I think they're trying to make it down the pike over here to this location. Well, it's going to be early morning. It's going to be beautiful out here. And I can't think of a better time to start a fight, guys. let's get moving. In fact, I typically would micromanage these men, but in this situation, I am actually going to go ahead and move out with the entire group all at once. And like I said, early morning, the early risers will hopefully get the victory here and also kick off the rebellion once and for all. As always, guys, we'll return when the fighting begins, and that's what we're going to try to do in this series more often. Not put you guys through unnecessary parts of battles, but really get to the nitty-gritty. Well, guys, just as we're approaching the Millwall Pike, it looks like we have found some of the enemy. Of course, I'm immediately going to set my guys up. One thing I want to do, I should have done it earlier, is going to detach some skirmishers here, just to make sure that we're shooting at the enemy before they even make contact with our 1st Brigade. We're going to do the same here with Thomas Jackson's men. And again, the really great thing about doing a campaign in this game, something I love, is the fact that we get to really determine who the great generals are. You know, as of right now, Jackson's still considered a knowledgeable guy, but he's not the hero that he becomes later on in the war. And maybe we'll have something to do with that. So first things first, I'm immediately going to start engaging with skirmisher units and really just trying to pepper the enemy's lines down. They have fewer men than us, so I'm hoping that if we pepper them down, we can force them to retreat. Now, you're wondering why I'm sending Barnard Elliott B. Jr. up here, and that's because I want to detach skirmishers up here and shoot from this hill down onto the enemy. Now, I hope that the distance isn't going to be too great for that to occur, but I don't think it is. I'm also going to take John Pelham, and as soon as he gets over on this hill position, I need to make sure to push him up a little farther. Then I'm going to open fire on the group here, and hopefully we can teach McDowell his first and certainly not his final lesson. There we go. First blood goes to the Confederacy, boys. That's what I like to see. I'm also going to take 2nd Brigade here. Might as well detach skirmishers from them as well. Here we go. Sending forward a group of skirmishers, and I'm going to have them fire on Schleich's brigade from this position. Now, I didn't know we had cavalry. I genuinely did not know that. So let me get Stewart's cavalry, and for now, just have them assist with opening fire on the enemy. Now, that's new. I have not seen that. It's been a while since I've been to the game, but it looks like there's now a surrender button. How great is that? To try and minimize casualties on your men. Now, I'm actually going to have our skirmishers open up on their skirmishers. It looks like Schleich's detachment has sent up some men to try and stop us, and we're going to engage them with 4th Brigade if we have to. I don't give a damn. We are in range. Let's make it happen, boys. That artillery's also going to be in range, but I think we're going to have to send some guys to defend them. In fact, with this arty, I think we can start opening fire already. The topography is not perfect, but it's good enough to start getting some shots down. Smith in contact, Johnston in contact. The battle has begun 100%, and look at that. Again, the first battle is not necessarily going to be the bloodiest, but we see like 1 guy down, 2, 3, 4, a few Federals down just with this volley. I'm really trying to just use the skirmishers and save the infantry regiments if I can at all, or excuse me, the infantry brigades. Now, I will slowly start moving this guy up here, but as you can see right now, it's primarily our skirmishers that are getting the job done here. Come on, Johnson, Jackson. Open fire, boys. Open fire. We are really compressed here, but thankfully, I think we're getting some tremendous shots either way. What I will do is push this infantry unit out to our western flank. And I might actually do the same here with 4th Brigade, just try to expand our frontal line here, and that maximizes firepower, so it really does help us in the end. But I love seeing those rifles going off. Doesn't seem like the Union's doing much in return, and I almost forgot about the boys up here. Now, initially, I was going to try to do a, Initially, I was going to try to do detaching skirmishers. Now, I'm not so sure about that. Go ahead and halt them. Once we halt them, we will reassign, but look at that. Devastating shots on Hull's brigade. Hopefully we get some devastating shots right there as well on those skirmishers. But look at this, boys. This is the Confederacy at work. It's what I love to see. It's why I like the game, is just getting these sorts of situations where our army has got the enemy in a bit of a vice grip. Now, of course, anything can happen, and in fact, I didn't check to see if the enemy is behind us, which they most certainly could be. But we're going to have to go and take a look here in a second anyway. Look at that, man. It's looking wonderful, and maybe it would be a correct time to detach skirmishers here. Oh, no, sorry, we already have with Bartow. Let's just make sure we're focusing on the enemy skirmishers. I'm not sure if the Federals are necessarily better trained than our army. In fact, if somebody wants to let us know in the comments down below who was the better trained army in the first months of the war, I don't know if you could really say. I guess it might even be the Confederacy, because they were preparing for this eventuality for quite some time. Love seeing that cavalry at work. And in fact, if we want to, we can actually dismount with this unit. Not sure that's what we want to do, although I like that cold steel skill, charge the enemy with sabers. Now, that is something that I don't recall seeing before. I would typically just draw a line into the enemy forces, but that's not the case here. Keep it up, boys. Let's look at those bodies. So far, all I see are Union bodies, with the exception of one Confederate cavalryman right there. One thing I don't like, though, is the positioning of this artillery. What we need to do is get this artillery up here on the hill and not get overrun. So let's send this guy up here, and we'll also send the skirmishers to defend them. So I'm not even going to have these skirmishers necessarily fire on the enemy. I'm going to have them focus on defending this unit. Let's engage there. Come on, man. We need full volleys, and beautiful. Rosecrans detachment is breaking. Again, that's a detachment of skirmishers, keep in mind. And all sorts of little surprises in this particular battle, guys, because the unit of skirmishers we sent out here absolutely got shot down. So now I'm hoping that Law's detachment can break that Union line, and I do believe they can. Although the fact that they managed to send our skirmishers on the run does not make me feel very safe. And you know what? I think we need to send out some skirmishers. Oh, no, we have with Smith. Let's see who hasn't sent out skirmishers. Now, this is not necessarily always a good idea. I want to be very clear about that. Although we're getting some excellent shots. Look how quickly they made it to the top of that hill. And they are just laying down fire into Rosecrans, man. I absolutely love to see it. Well, I hate to do this to you guys, but I want to make sure to make this a campaign that we can continue watching. And I'm going to be just totally honest with you guys. You know, you're my Centurions. I'm not going to bullshit you. If the campaign doesn't get more, or if a video doesn't get up to 400 views, I'm just not going to continue it. It's that simple. So the whole idea to getting the next part of the battle is just to get to that 400 views, and let's say at the minimum of like 30 likes. The reason I'm doing that is, guys, it's the only way that I can keep this channel together and still not go completely bankrupt, pretty much. So please keep that in mind. I have parts 2 and 3 ready to go. So again, all we need is that 400 views, and we will immediately release the next part. Thank you so much, guys, for being so patient, and follow me here with the Confederacy. Let's see if we can't send these Federals straight to hell where they belong.